Hello! Hey guys, here I am again with some more Dreadlocks information. Today is going to be a tip about keeping your dreads smelling fresh and nice. I don't know about you, but I am really self-conscious about my hair. Not so much the look, I know it's crazy. Dreadlocks are always going to look mad whether they're old, young. Loose hair, bits and bobs, can't do anything about that. But I'm self-conscious about how they smell. And the thing is, I really don't need to be, because dreadlocks that are looked after correctly don't smell. But there's, the constant, I don't know how to describe it, but there's the myth that dreadlocks are unclean and they stink and they're nasty. Now, of course, dreadlocks can smell if you don't look after them. The same as any hair can smell. The same as anything can smell if you don't wash it and don't look after it. But properly looked after dreadlocks, just like properly looked after hair, is not going to smell. But I feel I have to overcompensate a little bit because there's the constant pressure. Added to that, dreadlocks don't really have a smell. When you have normal hair, you can use really nice fancy shampoos and conditioners with lovely scents and lovely smells. But with dreadlocks, you wash your hair with residue-free shampoo, and they don't have a scent, because if it leaves behind a scent, then it's leaving behind a residue and it's leaving bits of shampoo in your hair. So your dreads either smell of nothing, either just smell of hair, or they smell of your surroundings, and it's not exciting. And the time when my dreads smell the best is after a deep clean. Put the essential oils in a deep clean, soak them for 30 minutes, and they smell fantastic. I just want to wrap myself up in my hair. So what I like to do is try and make that smell last. Now after a deep clean, the smell will only last, the nice fragrance will only last a few days, and then once you start washing your hair again normally, it fades away, leaving you back with the bland, sort of scentless, neutral smell. So what I do to combat that is a sort of a spray mist. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have solutions for this already, but I thought I'd go through what I do. Okay, so here we go. This is what I have. This bottle here used to be one of those really sour spray candies that you spray on your tongue. It's really sour. After disposing of all of the candy and making sure that it's properly rinsed out and no longer sticky, I'm left with a container with a spray top, which is small, portable, and will fit inside a handbag. I personally do not have a handbag. I have an Indiana Jones satchel, and it fits perfectly in my Indiana Jones satchel. I'm not a child. So what I have in here is a mixture of just water and whichever essential oil I'm feeling for that day. So I take the smells that would be in my deep cleanse. The main one for me is lavender. That's the scent that I put in my deep clean in quite a high concentration just to keep the smell off. But you can see I have a few different flavours for different occasions. I have lavender in here at the moment. For a bottle this size, I'll fill it with water and then put between 4 and 6 drops of lavender essential oil in, and then I can just spray away. And it gives my dreads more of a positive smell rather than just a neutral nothingness. Chances are other people aren't going to smell it because other people don't go around smelling other people's hair, but I can smell it and it's nice. Depending on how much essential oil you put in your mixture and how strong your essential oil is, and that also depends on which flavour you're using, that will determine how much you have to spray and how strong the smell is. So I tend to go with a lavender, but you can go with other things. You can go with tea tree, and that's nice for your hair and good for your scalp. So if you get some on your scalp, then that's fine. You can go with rosemary, which is good for dandruff. So while these are not really soaking your hair, so it's not going to make a huge difference, you spray on, get a nice scent, get a little bit all over. One which I quite like, which isn't in my deep clean, is peppermint. Now, peppermint kind of makes my hair smell like chewing gum, which... but it's kind of cooling. So sometimes I get sort of irritable, and I don't know, it's just sometimes irritating to have dreads when you're sweating and it's hot. So peppermint kind of cools that. So if I'm getting irritated, I can just cool myself. The problem there is with a bit of essential oil peppermint mixed with some water. Essential oils, I get those from health food store. So if you go to a health food store, you can normally find a row of them in different varieties, flavours, maybe in pharmacy or drugstore near you, you can pick them up, but I only have looked for them. I have only looked for them in health food store. They come in a wide variety of flavours. I'm going to look at a fruity one next time, but I just keep coming back to lavender. I don't know why. It's so relaxing. So I'm using between 4 to 6 of lavender in here, drops. You're going to need more if you're using a bigger container, but I recommend that you start off with a small amount and then add a drop spray, because it can get quite strong quite fast. You're going to want to shake it to get the smell to fill the whole thing and not just sit on the top. And I would definitely recommend a lid, because otherwise it can soak all over your bag or wherever. This is definitely not a replacement for washing your hair or a replacement for a wash of your hair. You shouldn't be using it to mask a bad smell. You should be using it to, you know, just add. If your hair smells bad, then that is a problem and you should not be trying to mask it. You should be trying to solve the problem. And there are various things that can make your dreadlocks smell slightly unpleasant, but there are ways to fix those, but this is not what I would do for that. You can experiment with different flavours. As I said, there's a wide variety. I tend to not mix multiple flavours because I just like having one and then I can switch between one or the other. There's no law that says you can't put multiple flavours in and mix them up. You can try adding a little bit of sea salt to this. If you're going with the saltwater spray for your loose hair and trying to make it more frizzy, you can put some of your sea salt in here and you shake it up, and then adds a little bit more during the day. I personally would not put my lemon juice in here if I was putting lemon juice on my hair, either for drying the hair or a little bit of sun bleaching, because I like the fact that the essential oils you can leave around for ages, whereas I'm not particularly sure how long I'd want to leave lemon juice just knocking around in my bag and stuff and then spraying it onto my hair. That about sums it up for that tip. That's what I do to keep my dreads smelling nice between washing and deep cleaning. If you use something different for keeping your dreads smelling nice, I would love to hear that. If you use essential oils for your spray, like me, I would also love to hear what smell you recommend. If you recommend a certain essential oil or a certain mixture of essential oils. Any other comments, questions that you would like me to answer, you can leave them here in the comment section. You can send them to me at Twitter. You can send them to me on Twitter at lazy_dreads. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/lazydreads, as one word. And as always, plenty of stuff on lazydreads.com where you can find everything that I do. Thank you for watching. Farewell.